have.
Well, welcome to FrankieSense More. And today on FrankieSense, I am joined by a man who's made it his mission to shine a spotlight on powerful voices around the world, women's voices. Brad Walsh created a podcast dedicated entirely to amplifying the voices of strong, resilient, and inspiring women around the world. And he called it Empowerography. And somewhere along the way, his show landed in the top 1.5% of podcasts globally. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He is also a photographer, international speaker, story doula, and an international best-selling author. Brad launched Empowerography during the pandemic, and what began as one idea quickly grew into a global movement dedicated to empowering, elevating, and educating through the power of story. So welcome, Brad, to FrankieSense and More, where I can say anything.
And I know you will. Thank you so much, Frankie. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for bringing me onto your platform and your space to have a conversation. Wherever it goes, it goes. And I
Yeah,
know
I'm
it'll
really
go in many
excited
different
about our
directions with you.
conversation. This is going to be so much fun.
It is. I can't wait. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So, okay, everybody. Today we're going to put Brad on the spot just for a second. Okay, so you
Mhm,
interview powerful women from all over
mhm,
the world
mhm.
on your podcast, Empowerography.
Yes.
In
Mhm.
fact, you've interviewed, I think, over 800 or close to 800 women.
Yes, over 800. Yes.
Okay, so today I thought we'd test your knowledge. And
Oh
after all of
boy.
these interviews, I only got one question. After all of these
Oh
interviews,
boy.
do you finally understand women? And wait, before you answer,
I okay, go ahead.
be careful
Sorry.
because you're talking to Frankie
Yes.
Picasso.
Yes.
So, what is the biggest thing that women have taught you that men still haven't figured out?
How to listen.
Mm, good
And
answer.
no, I don't fully understand women. I've definitely improved and I understand more than I did. Absolutely. But no, I don't no, I can't say that I fully understand women. No. But I
Usually, women don't even
am
understand women.
I am much further along in that process than I was 6 years ago. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. For
Okay,
sure.
I'm going to come back to that, but there's something
Hmm.
that I just noticed about you.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
like to invent words.
Yes, I
Your
do.
photography business is Visuphoria. Your
Yes,
podcast
correct.
is
Very good.
Empowerography.
Very good.
And these aren't exactly words we learned in grade school.
No.
So, where do these names come from? Do they appear in the middle of the night? Is there a secret Brad Walsh word factory, or did your wife help you with them?
No, there's a secret Brad Walsh word factory. They just downloads, they just come to me. I mean, the Visuphoria, the photography thing was just I it just came to me. Like when I think of photography, it's visual.
Right.
And I thought, well, when people look at my images that I create, I want them to feel euphoric. So I put the
Okay.
two words together, Visuphoria. And so many people, even within Empowerography, and I'll tell you how I came up with that one too, but I had when I first put these names out there as my brand, people would say that word's too hard to say. You really should look at changing it. I'm like, no, I'm not changing it. This
You
is
don't have to
something
dumb
I
yourself down
created.
for people.
No, if you can't say the word, then that's on you. It's not that hard. Sound it
Ask.
out phonetically.
Yeah, they don't teach that in school anymore, by the
No,
way.
that's true too. But I refuse to change because these words that I create, they're also part of what helps the brand stand out as something
Right,
different. If I
right.
just use my name, eh, and I
Yeah.
have to share a funny story with the photography piece. I had a guy, another there's a musician and artist out there named Brad Walsh as well.
And I know him.
Do you? Okay, well, anyway, I was still in my
No,
corporate
sorry, I know
career.
Dan Walsh.
Oh
Sorry,
no, Brad Walsh. So I
but
was
Dan
in
is
my
local.
corporate career and I was exhibiting my art at art shows and things around Toronto and I was applying to different art shows in New York and different places. And this guy's lawyer contacted me asking me to cease and desist from using my name.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
it's my name. I'm so because apparently this guy was getting calls about wanting to buy my art. It's like,
That's so
well, this is a good
funny.
thing, but
Yeah,
this guy's no, I'm not going to stop using that's my
that's
birth
your
name.
name.
Like,
Yeah, that's
no, it's not
ridiculous.
happening. So, anyway, Visuphoria is the company name, and for Empowerography, I thought, well, again, the work I do as a photographer, empowering women through photography. So I just put those two words together and came up with Empowerography. And again, people say that's too hard to say. You should really think about changing the name of it. And I even had a woman tell me, and this was early on, I think this is probably about year two, maybe, of the podcast, because it'll be six next month. I had a woman actually say to me, I was on a discovery call with her, and I explained my story, why I do what I do. She actually told me I should think about changing my name because I'm a man and I should not use the word empower. And
It
I
belongs
thought,
to men.
you got to be kidding. I
I didn't
just
know that
thought
words had, gender
ownership.
ownership.
I was blown away. I just thought, who
Wow.
are you to tell me that I shouldn't be using or speaking a certain word or use a word? Anyway,
Women aren't
I
the
just
only
thought,
ones who need to be empowered. And,
no,
there's lots of men that need to be empowered too.
for sure. It was
Yeah,
very interesting. Just had
that
to
is
share that.
crazy. That is so crazy. I can't even imagine. So let's go. I'm going to jump around because I like to.
Mhm, sure.
Story doula. So a doula is usually
Mhm,
someone traditionally that provides support and guidance to
mhm,
people
mhm,
going through, there's a death doula and a birth
mhm,
doula.
mhm,
Um, and now there's a story doula.
mhm.
So do you help people birth their stories? Is that what you do?
Yes, yes, through, and I think that that's the golden thread through all my work as a photographer. I help them birth the story of their story visually and tell
Mhm.
that story through visuals. And then, of course, the podcast provide a platform for them to share their stories. But I also do work with women to help them step into their visibility, into their confidence, figure out what their story is. Because I have had so many women tell me, Frankie, I don't have a story. Who am I to tell? Who wants to listen to my story? I don't have a story. All these things. So I just thought, you know what? We need to get your story out there. Your story needs to be birthed out into the world because we all have a story. And I think it's part of our duties and our responsibility as a human to put our stories out there because those stories will impact at least one person. I guarantee and I promise every single woman who gets onto my podcast, your story will impact one person. I guarantee it because
Well, mine
how can
better
it
impact
not?
too.
Yes.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing because I think we're in the same business.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
bring stories out of people in
Mm-hmm.
both this business as a host,
Mm-hmm.
interviewer, and
Yep.
in my other business is in G Woman Media.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it we do all have a story, and
Yes.
they do help lots of people. People tend to think that they are unique and that they are on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and that nobody else has gone through what I've gone through. And
Yes.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and trust me, lots of people gone through what you've gone through, even if
Yes.
you think it's so unique. Um, why women? Like you started this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about? Like, what was going through your head? Going, I should interview dogs. I should interview women. Like, what was going through your head? Like,
Well,
why not men? Like, what?
well, because I was already in the business of and working with women through my photography work, and I got to a point in the photography work. I was probably about 2 years into my entrepreneurial journey, and I thought I want to reach more people. I mean, the work that I get to do as a photographer with women is absolutely beautiful and powerful and impactful and all the things.
Okay, I'm going to
It's
stop you. We got to go back
yeah.
because people. Let's talk
Okay,
about your photography for one sec.
sure.
You started
hmm
off as I think, landscape photographer,
Art, yeah, yeah,
art,
landscape, architecture, all of that stuff. Yeah, I never wanted to photograph people.
and then you worked for a company, serious
Yes,
company, and then you
yes,
did headshot,
yes, headshots.
professional
Yes,
headshots,
yes.
and then somewhere along the line you got into boudoir photography, and this is
Yeah,
where that visual
yes, yeah. So
enhancement and
that,
stuff came about.
yeah, so that came about. I was introduced through a mutual friend to a boudoir photographer who was based in Florida. And I fell in love with her work and the mission and the message behind that genre of photography with what you can help women
So she was a
accomplish.
woman,
Yes.
and it must have been different for her than it was for you. A little bit,
hmm
a
hmm
little bit.
hmm
Just,
Yeah.
some women relax, some women think it's sexy, and some women are too shy, I would think.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Um, but there are other men that work in this genre of
Yeah, I had
photography.
mixed
They're far and
observations.
it's more of a women dominated industry.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for sure. 100%. And I don't think it's still not widely accepted as an art form. People associate um I can't even think of the
Is
word.
it
I'm trying to think of the,
vanity?
no, people associate, for lack of a better,
Art?
this is the only word, this is the first word that can, slutty. They think it's disgusting, it's vile, they don't see the true beauty and the art in it because and it is beautiful, it is artful, it is about photographing a woman's essence. And I always tell all of my clients, you do not have to wear lingerie because lingerie
Mhm.
is synonymous with boudoir
Right.
photography. But I always stress that you do not have to wear lingerie. If you want to wear cut off jean shorts and a t-shirt, you can wear that. It's about
I actually like the juxtaposition of the sweater, that the texture of the sweater that that a
yes.
lot of your photos have,
Hmm.
with the jean or the skin or whatever,
Yeah.
right? I think it's
Hmm.
nice. Yeah, I think it looks
I
good.
love doing sweater shoots, actually. What do I sweater weather shoots? I love doing those. I think they're very sensual
I
and
find it
very
more essential than
beautiful.
actually not having
Yeah.
anything on,
Yes.
really.
I don't photograph nudes. I don't do nudes.
Yeah.
Um, lingerie, but I always stress that you can wear whatever you want because it's about what makes you feel beautiful, what makes you feel powerful, what makes you feel confident. And I also say that even though we're doing this shoot, and yes, you get images and all, but the images are just a byproduct. This is what this really is about is the experience. It's about you owning, stepping into your visibility, your confidence, and owning that. The images are just a byproduct. That's something you have, yes, as a keepsake. You can look back on that later. But the most important thing is the experience, what you feel during that transformational session. That's what it's about. And
So
I
how long is a
always stress
typical
that.
session?
90 minutes.
Okay.
90
So in
minutes.
90 minutes, they walk in
Mhm.
and they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And they walk out. Okay, take more.
Actually, funny enough, yes, at the end, by the time we finish shooting,
Yeah.
at the end of the session, I'll say, okay, we've got enough. We're good. Amazing. You did an amazing job. Oh, I was just really getting into this and loving
Yeah.
this. It's like,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
did amazing all throughout. And yes, of course, there's the nerves at the very beginning for, I would say, 95% of the women that I photograph. But there is that small percentage that are very comfortable in front of the camera. But for the most part, where do I put my hands? How do I, all of these different things. And that's my job is to coach them through the session and to make them feel good, to make them feel confident. Because when the women step into the confidence throughout the session, it comes through in the images so strongly and so powerfully. And that's what we want. We want the strong images. But again, it's about the experience and how you feel through that process. So that's really what it's about for me. And it is a true gift to be able to give that to another human being and to see a woman transform. I compare it to watching a caterpillar transform into a butterfly in 90 minutes. It is one of the most powerful and beautiful things to witness. And so at back to what we were saying before, at the 2 year mark roughly of my entrepreneurial journey as a photographer, I started to feel like I wanted to have more impact and I wanted to reach more people. So I thought, why don't I take the values and the purpose and the mission of the work I do as a photographer and somehow transform that or turn that into a podcast where I focus the platform solely on amplifying and elevating the voices of women. And at the time, and even now, I don't know of any other platform out there in the world that is hosted by a man that solely focuses on highlighting and amplifying the voices of women. So I thought, this is great. Again, kind of tying back to the name, it can like carve out my own little niche and make it stand out. It's
That's
unique. No
right.
one else is doing this. So it just kind of came together. I mean, it didn't happen overnight, obviously. And, I'd never, ever, before I started this, listened to a podcast in my life, ever. I
Wow.
had never interviewed a single person in my entire life, but I thought, I'm just going to jump in and figure it out. Why not?
Yeah, why
How
not?
hard can it be?
Exactly. It's just talking.
Exactly. Exactly.
What's the oldest woman that you did boudoir photography for?
Um, in her 60s, I believe it was.
Okay. And I saw some men.
Hmm.
You did some men, right?
I did a couple shoot for a friend of mine and his wife. Yeah, I did a couple shoot and then I did solo images of each of them separately so they
Okay.
could have some images themselves as well. But yeah, I do couple shoots. Those are fun. Those are a
I
lot of
bet
fun to
couples
do.
are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is a very interesting dynamic, but I thought I'll do some solo stuff too
Or
so
do the
that
men
we
start, telling their wives how to pose?
No,
Just
no,
kind of
no,
curious.
no,
No?
not at all. No, not at all. And
Okay.
that's it. I don't. So my hair and makeup artist stays the entire time during the shoot. I don't allow
You're not by
the
yourself.
women to bring their spouses.
Hmm.
And boy, because that's when that stuff happens, is the
Yeah.
boyfriend or the husband will start saying, "Oh, you should do this." And no, no, no. Listen, I got this. I know what I'm doing. It's okay. I just
Yeah.
rather not deal with that. I would just want to be able to focus on my subject and create an amazing experience. If I've got someone else yapping in my ear, forget it. So I don't allow the spouse to come into the studio.
Okay. So, I mean, if your listeners, women are going to want to know. I mean, you are married, you have a
Hmm.
wife, and
Hmm.
how does she put up with this or not? Or maybe not put up with it. Is she proud of you over it? Like,
She's
what's her story
she's
about this?
she's come to be okay with it. At first, no, it was quite a difficult thing, but
Because you
she's
are
kind
meeting a
of.
lot of women, right?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
exciting. They're, everybody's new and fresh, and this is
Hmm.
how those emotional, um, what do you call it? Um, Affairs happen.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. No, she's stepped into accepting it for what it is, and I don't know. I- if the roles were reversed, I wouldn't care. I whatever. I trust you. I know you're coming home to me, so
Right.
that's fine. And listen, if you want to step out, then there's the door. See you later. If that's what you're going to do, then
Right.
But
Right.
she's come to accept it and understands where I'm coming from, and you know, yeah.
So, okay, let's go to women then.
Mhm.
With the doula, have you helped anybody write a book?
I've actually co-published two books. I brought 30 women together in the first book called Transforming Pain into Purpose, Volume One. And then I did a follow-up, a part two. I did a Transforming Pain into Purpose, Volume Two, where I brought 14 authors together to share their stories. So I was part of that process.
Okay, that's cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
You saw I bared my chest with you went
Yes.
unstoppable. Yeah. Okay. Um, Women in leadership.
Yes.
What have you learned? What do we know?
That they've had to adopt male masculine energy and it's not right. That's like putting on a
Yeah.
mask. They can't be who they authentically are. I think we're seeing a shift where it's starting to become more acceptable for women to be who they are. I honestly think it would change the world if we had more women in leadership at all, in corporate, in government, all of these places. The world would be a completely different place, and I think that's what we need. Men have fucked this up so far beyond. Look where we are right now. Look, I mean, the
Hmm.
world's on fire, and
Hmm.
that's predominantly the powers that be are male,
Yeah.
right? So I think that women deserve the chance to show the world what they can do. Why not?
I mean, I'm a co-founder of a company that wants
Hmm.
to change the narrative for
Hmm.
women. Now, men have told women who they are for
Yeah.
a long, 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 long time.
Hmm.
Starting in, Grimm's fairy tales. We know who women are. They're witches and they're this and they're
Hmm.
that, right? Princesses. But when you're talking to these women, I'm
Hmm.
curious, if you were to now describe women,
Hmm.
if you were to mansplain women from a woman's perspective, what would is there a commonality? What do you think women would describe themselves as? I mean, I know it's a tough question, but I'm curious because this is something that we have to do. We have to start to figure out what our narrative is.
Hmm. Well, I think more women are starting to own their voice and realize that they have first of all, find their voice
Hmm.
because it has been suppressed for so long. Women have been told since they were young girls, sit over there and be quiet, just look pretty, and all these different things, right? So
Yeah.
I think women are finally finding their space and finding their voice and starting to use it and not give a shit. Like this is who I am. I'm not playing small anymore. I am not shrinking to fit into your box that you're trying to put me in. There's no longer room for that. Like I that's not me. That's not where I want to be. So women are stepping into and finding their
Let's talk
voice.
about being pretty for a minute, because that's
Hmm.
what men have told women to be pretty. Men have
Yeah.
told women what pretty is. They
Hmm.
actually, I mean, women take their identity from men, pretty
Yes.
much.
Hmm.
So, in your shoots or in the
Hmm.
conversations,
Hmm.
have you touched on pretty? Have you touched on beauty? And what a woman thinks her beauty should be.
Yeah, we talk about beauty and the importance of it. And this, I don't, I always tell my clients as well that when I go into the editing process, I am not changing who you are in any way, shape, or form. I'm very, very light-handed with my editing. The only things I will remove are stray hairs and blemishes. If you want something like a tattoo or something, I'll do that, no problem. But otherwise, I do not liquefy the body. I don't do any of that stuff because I want to hold the integrity of who you are. If we alter this image or these images, that's not a true representation of who
That's
you are.
true.
And you should be very proud of who you are. I don't care how big or small you are. That doesn't matter. Every single woman has beauty within and without. So this is something this is a narrative that I push and that I talk about. And, I started a project a while back, which reminds me, I have to get back to that project and pick it up again. But I started a project probably about, oh man, before the podcast called Project Naked. And that, of course, is just for attention. But the premise of the project is photographing 100 women without makeup, without getting their hair done. I mean, yes, you come with your hair washed and look presentable, but we're not putting on the makeup. We're not getting your hair done. We're going to photograph you in your true essence and capture that. And then what I do, I have a form on my website. They have to download that form. It's 5 questions, I think it is, and fill that out and bring it to the session. And those questions are focused around self-love. And so
Mm.
I think this third shoot I did for this project, because I want to turn this into a coffee table book.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
third
be
shoot that I
great.
did for this project, it was a group of 6 women. They were all friends and they all came in together. And so they
Wow.
all brought their questionnaires and we sat around after the shoot and we went through the answers and we talked about them. We discussed them. These are the discussions that need to happen because every woman is beautiful in her own way. Just because you don't look like the magazine supermodel, which is, by the way, it's airbrushed, so it's not even an accurate
Representation.
representation of
Yeah.
that woman.
Hmm.
You are true beauty within and outside. So if we could learn, and men go through this too, men struggle with self-love, and
They do, but men are, for the most part, men are very judgmental of women. Women are
yes.
judgmental of women too, but men are judgmental of women. And I
Hmm.
can tell you, as a woman, excuse me, in her 60s, at 50, I was
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
55, you start to become invisible.
Hmm.
And it's very demoralizing
Hmm.
for a woman
Yeah.
who's used to some attention, and then you
Hmm.
get zero attention because now we've just written you off,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
So, um, and I don't know what the answer to that one is. We can say I'm beautiful, and I can say, oh, I'll take my picture without makeup on.
Hmm.
But the reality is, inside this person, she's
Yes.
like, I'm going to put my makeup
Well,
on.
that's okay. That's what makes you feel comfortable.
But after I had when I had my motorcycle accident, you know about
Hmm.
my accident.
Hmm. Yeah.
I had to go. They called them DACs, and you have to go to these different doctors. And one of the
Right.
doctors was a psychiatrist or a
Hmm.
psychologist, and I had makeup on. And he goes, "Well, you can't possibly be in pain because you have makeup on." And I said, "Well, you're not a very good psychologist because
That's
if I looked on
absolutely
the
ridiculous.
outside, what I
Hmm.
felt like on the inside, I wouldn't be talking to you today. I'd be like,
Hmm.
I'd be gone." So there's some power to that because
Hmm.
it does make you feel better.
Hmm.
If that's what makes you feel better, right? Maybe some
Yeah.
people don't care about it. It
Yep.
does make me feel better, but
Hmm.
it was truly necessary for my sense of self-worth to
Hmm.
try to look as good as I could because I felt so horrible inside.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. That's understandable. But I think there is something so beautiful and powerful about a woman just showing up as who she without makeup, just as who she is in her raw, authentic self. There, it is so beautiful, I think. And I mean, I love photographing women with makeup, without makeup, either or, but there's just something very powerful about photographing a woman who was not wearing makeup, who doesn't have her hair all done, and it is absolutely incredible. But then to sit around and talk about the importance of self-love. And so this is the project. I want to put this project together. I have to get back to it. And actually, I think I'm going to just
It's
scrub
a
and
really great
start.
project. It's a really interesting project. And you look at, I think Dove kind of was trying to do something like that a little bit,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and you asked me about a book that I liked, which was Psycho-Cybernetics, which is very
Hmm.
interesting because he was a plastic surgeon who focused on self-worth and understanding people, the way that the mind works. And he had done plastic surgery on women who afterwards said, "Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you change it? What I asked you to change, you didn't change my
Hmm.
body." And he had, and they just couldn't see it. So it's like an anorexic that doesn't see that they're thin.
Hmm.
Women didn't see that anything had changed on their face,
Yeah.
the thing that bothered them the most, which is amazing. Our brain is
It
so crazy.
it's such a powerful thing. Our minds are so powerful. But I mean, if we could, I was just talking to a friend today, and it's like if we could all see ourselves the way other people see us, what an incredible world we would be living in. How beautiful would that be? That would
Yeah,
be
and there's something is
utopia.
special about looking through a lens, a camera lens, because I do
Hmm.
understand what you mean. Like if I just look at you and I go, "Ah," but when you're looking through the lens and you can see the beauty, because you're
Hmm.
focus, it's not just one thing. It's like you focus in and there's like a macro and a micro and
Hmm.
it is a different experience through a lens
Hmm.
for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. I like to focus on different parts of the body and not, yes, of course, photograph the entire woman, but also photograph different parts that don't show everything.
Yeah.
It's and different cropping the image in different ways to create image. It's just beautiful to because every part of a
But you're
woman
looking
is
at it as
beautiful.
art.
Yeah.
You're looking at it as art, and so that perspective changes
Hmm. Hmm.
what you're seeing, right?
For sure. But I am constantly showing the woman in the session the back of the camera because
Okay.
I can only imagine what a woman is feeling who's never had a professional photo shoot or hasn't been in front of the camera is I can only imagine what's going through her head. Like, is this guy capture is he getting any good images? Am I like, do I look okay? Am I posing okay? All of these things. So I want to, this is part of the encouragement process through the shoot is to show her the back of the camera so that she sees. And I'm very encouraging and very uplifting and cheerleading her the
You're
whole
just
way
naturally
through.
that way anyway, I think. But in today's world,
Hmm.
where even our kids must have like a million photographs before they're
Oh
4
yeah.
years old, right?
Yeah.
And so people have tons and tons of photos.
Hmm.
Are they looking at it differently, do you think? Or is the experience, I mean, it is a different because, you're a professional photographer, but does it change what they're seeing or feeling? Before, when I was a kid and you were like, I don't know how old you are, but like when you were younger,
Hmm.
there was film and a camera. And so
Yeah.
we were more judicious about the pictures that we took because it cost a lot of
Yes.
money to get
Yes, of
those
course, to
processed,
develop.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we took way less photos
Well, we were
than
very
today.
selective about
Yes,
what we photographed.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was a different experience. Oh, here's a picture of me.
Yes.
Oh, wow, look what I look like. Right.
Yeah.
But today,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's terrible. Throw that one out. That's terrible. I don't like the way
Yeah.
I look. Oh,
Yeah.
my eyes are closed. Don't do that. Yeah. I mean, we're so picky. Yeah.
We have to be we have to be intentional. And I still try to do that, even though it's digital. I call it a lot of photographers or a, a term that was used a lot or is used a lot in the photography community is spray and pray. You just
Okay. Yeah. Just
and
keep
pray
doing.
that you get a good image.
Yeah.
No, you have to be intentional about what you're photographing and the images you want to create. Because back to what you were saying, I learned how to shoot on black and white film. So I was being intentional about what I was trying to photograph because you had a limited amount of frames. And as you said, you had to pay to get those developed. Of course, I mean, when I was learning, I was
Yeah. You
developing it
got a dark
myself.
room.
I had a
Yeah.
dark room, but you still had to pay for the film. You still had to
Yeah.
buy the film. You had to buy the paper to print it on.
Yeah. And the
So
chemicals, all that. Yeah. It's
yes, you
expensive.
had to be intentional. And I still try to be as intentional as I was. And I'll admit, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I just
Spray
fire
and
off
pray.
rounds. But yeah, well, I don't like using that term,
I
but
know it's
I
terrible.
try to be more intentional about my sessions when I'm
Yeah.
photographing because I want to create beautiful art.
So we started off, I asked you, what did you learn about women?
Hmm.
Um, and now that you're a little more relaxed, did anything else come to
Uh-oh.
mind?
Um, the invisible labor that women carry,
Mm,
the things that don't get seen, like the organization of the birthday parties, picking up the kids from school, going to work, coming home, making dinner, making sure the kids get to their activities, all these different things that the laundry, the like everything, the cleaning, everything. It, I don't think men realize how much work women do aside from their career, which is a full-time job in itself. And then the home is a full-time job. So women essentially have two full-time jobs.
yeah,
We
they're
need
unpaid domestic labor is what
Yes,
they are.
we need to learn as men to pick up the slack and help our women out because why should they have to do it all? I
Yeah,
mean, my situation is very different. My wife leaves the house to go to work every day. So I do the cleaning, I do the cooking, I take the dog out. And I honestly, why should she have to come home after working and do all this other shit? It's not
yeah,
right. So I'm here. So why shouldn't I be pitching? This is my house just as much as it is hers. It's my
right,
dog just as much as it is as much hers.
right.
I sit down and eat. So why can't I cook? Well, I have to put a disclaimer out. My wife does not like cooking. She actually hates cooking.
Oh, okay.
So, but I love it. I love cooking. For me, it's another form
It's
of
art.
art, of
It
creation,
is.
of
I agree. I'm the
meditation for me
same.
too, though,
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
in the I it's funny because I just closed the kitchen door. I'm like, don't come in here. Leave me alone. This is my space. Stay out. I'll call you when it's ready, kind of thing.
I
Same
love
with bake. I
that.
love baking too. And it's the same thing.
I just
Shut
made
the
brownies.
door. But it's there's a lot of invisible labor that men
Yeah.
don't see that women should be appreciated for, first of all, but also should be helped. Another
I'll tell you
thing.
what I find is the most difficult
Hmm.
is that when a woman wants to go out,
Hmm.
there's a lot of arrangements to make.
Yes.
You have to, do I have a babysitter? Is everything done in the house before I go? Is it okay if I go? Will you be here? All of this stuff has to be
Hmm.
arranged.
Logistics.
And
Yeah.
when a guy goes, it's like, okay, see you later, bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's none of that. They don't even have to think about arrangement because they
No.
just go. I mean, my
Yeah.
husband's pretty good. He'll ask me, is it okay if I go this day? But,
Yeah.
when I had kids or whatever, like none of that was ever
Hmm.
thought about. So it does make it more difficult,
Hmm.
to do anything because you're right. You have to think about all of these arrangements
Hmm.
that the men don't think about has to be done. Um, What's the answer? I mean, I know that you want to start talking to men and you're
Hmm.
looking for men allies. And you
Hmm.
even said, I think I read, and I don't want to misquote you,
Hmm.
but you wrote about, don't just tell me you have a daughter and a wife.
Yeah. It's performative allyship. That's bullshit. It's so something came to mind when you were talking about how women have to make all these arrangements. And I've heard this before, and I've heard it used by women who have shared and written and shared stories with me. Men, when you have kids, men look at it, well, I got to babysit the kids. Well, no, you're not babysitting. Those are
You're
your kids. What
parenting.
do you
You're
mean
parenting your
babysitting? What the
child.
hell are you talking about? They are your kids too. You should bear half the weight of this.
Yeah,
You help create these kids. Yes, your wife is a magical, beautiful vessel that birthed the children,
yeah.
and that is incredible. Women, I just think women are absolutely incredible. They are miracles, and we need to show more appreciation and value for everything that they bring to the table because women are undervalued. They're unseen. Again, I think things are shifting, and this is part of what I want to do is to help to shift this conversation, to bring more men into the conversation and talk about the importance of this. And another thing I think that where I just had it in my mind. Um, oh yes, another thing I want to mention about what women struggle with that men don't is it just
That's okay. While you're thinking about that, let's go to a country like, Norway.
Mhm.
Norway, which I think has it right. They
Mhm.
they they think it's so important for women to be home with a child, that they
Hmm.
pay them what they are worth to do that for a couple of
That's
years.
incredible.
Yeah. And they would see, I think it's the whole perspective about the whole person too, because they also, which I think is absolutely stunning, they also all contribute. So if you lost your job
Hmm.
and you couldn't get a job right away, the government's going to help you pay your rent. They're going to help you do all of this stuff because
That's
they know eventually
phenomenal.
you will, go back to work. And people
Hmm.
go, oh, well, you could just, abuse it. But they don't
Hmm.
abuse it. That's the thing. They don't abuse it because they appreciate that they can do it. And here, I can see people would abuse it
Hmm.
because they're not in that mindset of
Hmm.
helping other people,
Yes.
of social impact, of you know, being responsible for
Hmm.
society, right?
North
So it
America
depends
is
on your
not in a
perspective.
service mindset.
They are not
They're
in a service
not.
mindset. But I would love to live in a country like Denmark or um, Norway because they do
Hmm.
think like that way. And I don't know what it is about them that makes them think that way,
Hmm.
but that's a really great society in my mind.
I agree with you. Women are in North are penalized for having children. Like
Yeah.
they go on leave and they get looked at. Oh, you're pregnant again. You're going, what are you?
Not just that, in an interview, if you're like
Hmm.
late 20s, 30, in
Hmm.
an interview, you might be asked, are you going to become a parent?
Are you planning on becoming a mother? Yeah.
Are
Yep.
you planning on becoming a mother?
Hmm.
Oh, you know what? We want to put somebody in that vice president. Oh, but she's a girl. Like she's going to take off. She's going to have a baby. We can't do that.
No,
And
it's
that is that penalization. And it's so unfair because men can't have them.
exactly.
So who society has to carry on. So if we don't do it, who's going to do it? So a lot of women aren't
Exactly.
having children and they're happy not to have children, but look at the decline. So when it's
Hmm.
their turn for social security to come along, there isn't going to
Hmm.
be any because you've talked women out of having kids because you've treated them so poorly.
Yes, women should be celebrated for who they are, what they are capable of. Women are powerhouse, kick-ass beings, and that's it. They give birth. Like that is a miracle.
It really
Yet we
is.
punish women for that miracle. That's crazy to me. They
Yes.
should be celebrated for that. They are continuing the human race. People, wake up. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you?
And not just that, but then there's some men. I think I don't want to go there again. She had a baby. Oh God. This is Frankie's. But it's true. It's
Get
true.
over it. Get
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Stop being so ridiculous. Stop being so. How would you feel if it was reversed and your
Yeah.
wife said, "Oh no, I don't want anything to do with you there. Forget it."
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's crazy. It just speaks to the double standards of society and the bullshit that we see in the world. And like I said, things need to
So
change.
you
And it's
have had some conversations, I think, with men though, right? You've had
yes.
a
Hmm.
few.
Yeah.
And so where are their heads today? Where do you think they are in terms of are you going to be able to change any minds or
Yes. Yep.
you
I
are?
think so. I think so. I think it's going to take time. I think there's more of more men out there like me than we
In
know.
what age group do you think they're in?
Hmm, I would say I don't know. That's a tough one actually. 30s, 40s maybe.
Are they parents or not parents?
Not some of them are not parents. Some of them are. Some
I
of them
kind of
are.
think, I kind of feel in a way that even men and women too, if you
Hmm.
haven't had a child or raised a child, then there's a degree of selfishness that
Hmm.
you or selflessness that you don't know about,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, because I think it comes with the territory many times. If you're a good parent, it comes with the territory um, to become
But
less selfish.
yeah, I agree. But I think that we also need to shift that narrative, especially for women, because men really don't deal with this
Mhm.
around parenthood, that it is okay to put yourself above your children, above your partner. Because again, this ties back to the conditioning. Young girls are told you have to put as they're growing up, you have to put your family first, you have to put your children first, you have to put your neighbor, your community, all of this bullshit, and it's not true because when you do that, you're left with nothing.
This is
You got
true. I mean,
nothing
you
in the
have to fill your
tank.
own cup up for sure.
Yes.
And you have to put your own life jacket on.
Hmm.
But if I was to say to you, it's okay, Brad, you can stay in bed. Your dog doesn't need a walk. That's kind of what you're saying in a way, right?
No, no, no,
Because you're
no.
responsible for it. No, I'm not
Hmm.
responsible for the husband, but I am responsible
Hmm.
for the child. If
Yes,
I chose to have
it's
it.
so is the
Oh, so are
husband
they.
though.
Absolutely,
That's what
100%.
I mean.
Yes.
You deserve a break too. So the
Yes.
husband can step. That's all I mean. But I'm not saying, oh, let the kids deal with their own shit at 3 years old. I'm not saying that. But the
No.
husband has a responsibility too. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with mothers putting themselves first because first of all,
No.
mothers have given birth to these children.
Right. And
Their
they're
bodies
exhausted.
are going through massive changes. They're exhausted from bearing the majority of the responsibility.
Women are always going through hormonal changes.
Hmm.
Doesn't even matter what stage of life you are in,
No.
there's always a hormone doing something to you.
Hmm.
And it's very difficult. And a lot of men don't understand that. Like some stuff is not by choice. It is
No, I would say a
physiological.
lot of it is not by choice. And this brings up a very interesting point that I would like to talk about is
Yeah.
perimenopause and menopause. I
Yes.
interviewed a woman a while back. She is a perimenopause and a menopause coach. And she was telling me stories of men who actually divorced their wives because they couldn't deal with what she was going through. They didn't understand it. And this is another piece. Men need to learn to understand what a woman is going. This isn't a choice. This is what women have to deal with and go through. So take the time as a man to learn to understand what your wife or what women are going through. They don't choose to have this problem or have these issues or go through the things that they go through. I feel so sorry for women. My wife is going through peri, and hearing her tell me, "Oh my, it's too hot in here. It's too," and we'll go out. Then we'll go outside and take the dog for a walk. She's got her coat open or almost off. I'm like, "Aren't you cold? Like what?" Brad, I'm having a hot flash. Okay, okay, I get it. I totally get it. One
Yeah.
minute she got the blankets on, next minute they're off. It's like have some compassion and take the time to understand. That's all I'm saying.
There's a line in a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but an older gentleman was telling a younger guy the secret about women. And he goes,
Mhm.
just remember this, the temperature's never right.
Very true.
So true.
At a certain point in life,
At a
yeah.
certain
But
point in life.
I
But
just
men also go through andropause. They
yes,
just
they
don't
do.
know it. And
Yes.
they
Mhm.
don't call it that and they don't even think about it, but they do. And they are grumpy old men when they're
Mhm.
doing it.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And women
Mhm.
have to put up with that.
Mhm. Absolutely. The midlife crisis
The
bullshit that
midlife
men
crisis. I
go
wrote a whole
through
book on
and
it. Yeah.
there you go. So I think we just need to learn as men to be more empathetic and understanding and curious. Ask questions. If you don't know, ask, have the discussion,
You know
ask
what's
the
interesting
questions.
about men who have divorced and or had an affair with a younger woman, um, and it doesn't usually last that long.
Hmm.
And then the second time around, that's the second time. And then the third time, they come back to a woman their age because they realize that the life experiences that you've had and that the references that you make,
Hmm.
they don't get it
No,
because
there's
they
no
didn't experience.
relatability.
There's no relatability. Like it's nice. You don't know who Wilma is in the Flintstones? Like you just don't know
Or
that?
you
Like
don't know who Lucille Ball is? Like, really?
yeah,
Like, come
yeah. You know, you
on,
didn't see
man.
I Love
Like,
Lucy? Like
yeah.
those references are important because
Hmm.
they're timelines in your life, right? And
Hmm.
so to be able to go back and talk about those things is important.
It's just part of the
It didn't stop
relatability
with
piece.
start with Taylor Swift. I mean, it just didn't, right?
No, it did not. There's much more before that. I just think we need to do a better job as men
I
listening.
watched that show last night for the first time. It just got on Netflix, the one about age, like dating, don't know the
I
age of
haven't.
the person that you're dating. I didn't, I never knew about it. I caught
Hmm.
it last night. So these women and men come to this island. They don't know the age of the person on there, but they're
Hmm.
talking and dating and speed dating and maybe they'll leave with with this person or maybe they won't. But eventually they'll go into a private room and guess how old I am, right? And then they'll go, oh, it's way too much difference.
Hmm.
I can't be with you. Although they thought they were like amazing until they knew how old they were, right? So it's like crazy,
Hmm.
this age thing. But I mean, there is something to it.
There is for sure, for sure. And I think, as we get older, like into our 40s, say, and a 40 something dating a 50 something, it's not a big deal because there's a different level of life
Yeah.
experience. Now,
Yeah.
when we're talking about a 30-year-old dating a 17, then we got problems. That's not, or a 30-year-old dating, let's keep it legal, a 30-year-old dating an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
That's not, you can't relate. What could you possibly have in common? Yes, there are old souls, absolutely,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's still that relatability piece. And I think for a lot of men, it's a trophy, it's an
Yes.
arm piece, right?
Yes.
Which
It's
again is a
candy.
whole other thing. But
Yeah. 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 It's an ego boost, but
mhm.
then it becomes like you can't even keep up. I mean, eventually you're going to get
Yes,
older and you're not going to be
yes,
able to keep up,
that's right.
and then it's
And
going
then
to
she'd be
be
like,
not
see
so
ya.
much fun.
Yeah, see you later. Kick you to the curb.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So 700, 800 women
Hmm.
later,
Hmm.
um, and I know that you really were a big appreciative of your mom. Like your mom was
Hmm.
a big
Yes.
instrumental,
Hmm.
corner piece of your life.
Hmm.
Um,
She still
so you
is.
appreciate women.
Hmm.
You got a wife, you got daughters in your
Hmm.
family. Um, so you're this kind of lone male
Lone
surrounded by
wolf, lone wolf.
women.
Yeah, it's always been that way. It's always
Yeah.
been that way. It's funny. I had someone, I was on a call, I can't, probably last year sometime, and I was the only male on the call, and one of the women said, "Oh, this is like the Brady Bunch. You're in the middle, and you're the only man here surrounded by women." But this is what I'm used to. This is
But
what
you're
I've always
comfortable with
known.
that. But
Yeah.
do you miss
Mhm.
the company of men? Or when you get with men, you go, oh, you're just Neanderthals. What is it like for you?
Um, no, because I don't surround myself with those types. So I surround myself with the right type of people, and at least I try my best to. Um, but I do prefer being around women. It's just
It's more
easier.
comfortable.
Yeah. Hmm. Yep. Yep. But I like hanging out with my buddies too. Like I'll go to the pub and play darts and have a couple beers, and
What can
that's
you do with men
fine.
that you can't do with women?
Hmm. Well, it depends on the woman.
Well, is that
Sports.
no, no, but like that experience of going to the bar and hanging out with your buds
Oh,
and
I could go
shooting
with a woman.
pool or
Sure.
shooting,
That's
yeah.
yeah, I could do that with women.
It's
Absolutely.
not a different experience though, or is it?
Um, I think the conversation's a bit different,
So what would your
but
conversation with the guys be about?
they're talking a lot about work and stuff and what they're doing and what the things they're dealing with at work, stuff like that. Um, their
What women are talking
relationships.
about?
Um, what their interests are. Work too, though. It I think it always comes back with adults when we're in this stage, it always comes back to work at some point. We're talking about work, but I don't know. It's
Well, do women talk about their feelings more than men?
oh yes, absolutely. 1000% for sure. They're because women are comfortable doing that. Men are not. This, and again, this is another thing. We need to get more comfortable with that. But this also ties back to the conditioning as boys. We were taught, don't show your feelings, don't talk about your feelings, put on your big boy pants, stop crying like a little girl, all of these things. Now, I personally was not raised that way because I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. So I was taught and encouraged to talk about your feelings. If something's bothering you, come to us, talk to us. It's okay to cry, all of these things. So I
Hmm.
didn't have that experience growing up, but I know a lot of, I would say more than not, boys did have that experience. So again, we need to shift that perspective and that lens. And I think it starts with our young boys, teaching them from a young age that this is okay. It is accepted. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a little girl because you're crying.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is okay. Emotions are part of who we are. They're part of our makeup as
It's
human
a
beings. We're
release. That's all it
emotive.
is.
Yes. So
What
it's okay.
what do you think, or what have men said to you about women? What do men think about women?
What do men think about women?
Like if a guy was going to talk to you about women or
Hmm.
um, not just
They
about
talk
dating
about
women.
what they deal with their
Yeah.
partners,
So
with their
what do they have to
wives and
deal with?
stuff,
What's the biggest thing they deal with? That I want to know that the complaints.
trying to understand women. They can't understand. Like you say one thing, you mean another. I can't read your mind. Just tell me. They expect, just tell me what you want. Just be straightforward. Just tell me. Don't say you want one thing and expect something completely different. This
Yeah,
is
but do they
something.
think that when I say I'm fine, that I'm fine? Do they really believe that?
No, they can usually tell by the
They can
tone
tell
that it's
that one's
said
okay.
with.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that one is
There's
pretty
a big clue there.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. But I was talking with a friend last year, a male, and he was saying, men have it difficult as well in certain aspects where, women will say they want this protector, they want this hunter-gatherer type, but they also want the sensitive and the emotional. And my friend said to me, he said, when I have showed the vulnerability, the emotional side, they run the other way. So it's like, well, this is what you said you want. So what
Right.
is it you want? So
Right.
I think that's probably the biggest
But I
thing that
think
I
women
hear.
also have to be raised in a different way,
For sure. For sure.
right? So to
I,
accept that emotion from a man because you're so used to not seeing it that you think, oh,
yeah.
he's crying again. Like,
Yeah.
because some women are just like, I don't cry. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a weakness. It is really just a release, like everything
Yes.
else, like a
hmm
sneeze whenever you cry.
I,
It doesn't mean anything except emotion leaving your body. That's what it
mhm.
is, right?
I
So,
really think what we need to do is stop pointing the finger at each other and blaming
yeah,
each other. Let's just come together as human beings. Stop. Yes, the patriarchy is way over here and it's still there. I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore. I think it's crumbling, which is amazing
yeah,
to see.
yeah.
But if we continue to point the finger and blame the patriarchy for everything and continue bringing it up and we're never going to get out of it. Things are never going to change. I think we're at a point now where the pendulum swung too far the other way, where women are like, I don't need a man for anything. Fuck men. Who cares? Da, 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 da. No, we need to come back to center and work together. I wholeheartedly, and I've been saying this a lot lately, it is the only way forward is for us to come together as human beings. Forget the masculine versus feminine. Let's lift
Yes.
each other.
And I
And
just want to make
mhm,
a statement because
mhm,
men that I know
mhm,
think that feminism says, I don't need a man. That is not
mhm.
feminism.
No, it's
Feminism is
not.
about equity. It's not
Mhm.
about equality.
Well,
And
I think we have to say there is a degree of staunch feminism, we'll call it for lack of a better term, where that is prevalent
let's call it
because I've
Uber
heard it.
then, or
Okay. Yeah.
the
Uber
extreme,
feminism, where
yeah,
yes, and that exists, but there's also
just
the
like
extreme in
radical
them.
feminism,
There's
right?
yes, and there's radical masculine. It's all there's on both
And that's on the
sides.
rise too, because there's a lot of
Yes.
podcasts about men who don't need women.
Yeah.
Women are like nothing; they're doormats, right?
Bullshit. We need each other as
We need
humans,
each
and
other.
not in a
Yeah,
Jerry Maguire kind of way, but in the way that we can't do this without one another. Men
right.
have strengths and gifts and skill sets that women need, and vice versa. Women have skill sets, all of these things. So the sooner we wake up and realize that, the sooner we'll be able to build a beautiful consciousness for the entire planet. We have to do it together. There's no other way forward to create an impact that us heart and like-minded souls want in this world, in this universe. That's the only way. Period.
That's a great place to end this show on. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Frankie. I love talking to you. We always have such powerful conversations. We
They're
go in
fun.
so many different directions. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the time, for bringing me on to your show, and for this
Well, thank you for
beautiful
being an amazing
conversation.
guest. It's so much fun to hang out with you and to hear, your ideas and what you're thinking and what women are thinking and what men are thinking. We got to hear. You said at the very beginning of the show, we have to listen,
Mhm.
and that's a skill set. That's a
It
skill
is.
set.
So many people think they have it and they don't.
They do not have it. But we are going to say goodbye, Facebook. Thank you for
Yes.
joining us today. And if you have a question for Brad, put it in the comment. I will read it and I will send it to him and we will answer it for you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you. Just going to say goodbye here.